Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever encountered a figure so potent, so layered, that their very image seems to hold infinite meaning?
It's a great starting point.
Yeah, and our source today introduces us to exactly that. Kali, often called Kondinit, the power of time, or maybe even death.
Right, but it's more than just a label, isn't it? It's really a doorway into understanding a profound primal force.
Exactly. A force.
And what's fascinating here is how that initial idea, Kali, as the power of time, sort of blossoms. It becomes a foundation for a much, much richer understanding.
So where are we getting this from?
We're diving into excerpts from a book called Kali Mantra Sadhana Evam Siddhi. It's written in Hindi and Sanskrit, and the author mentioned in related material is Sri Yogeshwarananiji.
Okay.
And it essentially explores the how-to, how to connect with Kali through mantra practice and the spiritual attainments, the siddhi that can come from that.
So our mission for this deep dive
is really to pull out the core insights. Give you, the listener, a clearer picture of what Kali Sadhana is about according to this text, its significance, its practices, without getting totally overwhelmed by detail.
Straight to the essence. And the text kicks off by outlining 8 main aspects, or uphead, of Bhagavati Kali. Let's see. Janadmati Kali, Sparshamati Kali, Santikana Kali, Siddhiprada Kali, Dakshina Kali, Kamakala Kali, Hamsa Kali, and Guya Kali. Quite a list.
It is. And it specifically notes that Dakshina Kali is considered the chief among them.
Like different facets of one incredible gem, each with its own unique light.
That's a good way to put it. And in the wider context of Hindu Tantra, these different aspects, they offer a more granular way to grasp the deity's specific powers and functions.
Okay.
So highlighting Dakshina Kali as the main one, that often gives a central focus for a lot of the rituals and meditations you find.
And the visual description.
Wow.
That's really striking. Sham, so a dark complexion.
Deep dark.
3 eyes representing the sun, moon, and fire. Unbound, disheveled hair. Protruding teeth, a tongue sticking right out, and prominent breasts. It's quite an image.
It really is. Intense.
But the text immediately clarifies the symbolism, doesn't it? It explains her 3 eyes, let her see everything past, present, future, all at once.
A vision that just transcends our usual linear view of time.
Right. And her form, even with those fierce aspects, is seen as nurturing the whole world, the fabric of existence. She's described as unchanging, boundless.
And also called Yogi Nidra of Lord Vishnu. That's another layer.
Another layer indeed.
This iconography, this visual language, it's absolutely key. Every single detail resonates with deeper meanings.
Like the dark complexion.
Exactly. It's not just color. It can symbolize the unmanifest, the void,
Yeah.
where creation emerges from and where it eventually dissolves back into.
Okay, the source and endpoint.
And the 3 eyes challenge our whole concept of time, hinting at this unified reality you can access through her wisdom. Even the seemingly opposite things, like the wild hair, suggesting untamed energy.
And the breasts, symbolizing nourishment.
Right. They illustrate her all-encompassing, dynamic nature. She holds it all.
Now, the origin stories, these are always so revealing, aren't they?
Definitely tells you a lot.
We get a reference from the Gupta Ramayana. During the battle with Ravana, Lord Rama becomes unconscious. And Sita, she gets enraged, transforms. Her skin darkens.
And she brings about Ravana's death.
It's such a compelling picture of feminine power just unleashed.
And that narrative really underscores this huge potential for fierce energy within the divine feminine, a force that can activate when justice is on the line or the cosmic order needs restoring. You see similar themes elsewhere with Kali.
Then there's this other perspective, almost a cosmic creation story.
From the end of an eon, a kalpa.
Right. The whole creation is dissolving. Vishnu is in Yoga Nidra, this deep cosmic sleep.
And 2 demons, Madhu and Kaitaba, emerge from wax in his ears. And they move to attack Brahma, who's sitting on that lotus coming from Vishnu's navel. Brahma's terrified, prays to Vishnu.
But Vishnu's asleep. Doesn't hear him?
Right. But then, this brilliant light emerges from Vishnu himself. Face, eyes, arms, heart, chest. And it coalesces. It takes the form of Kali.
And she protects Brahma.
Yeah. It highlights her role as this fundamental protector, stepping in even when other divine forces seem inactive.
Her emerging from Vishnu's very being.
It signifies her deep connection to ultimate reality, her power to overcome the biggest threats to creation. It suggests this incredible energy is always there, even under the surface of stillness.
And one more. During the fight with the demon Raktavicha, this is from the Durga Saptashati.
Chapter 8.
Janika's face darkens with rage, and from her forehead, boom, Kali emerges,
and drinks Raktavija's blood.
which stops him from cloning himself endlessly from each drop.
Exactly. She ends him, and the gods are relieved. It shows how intense emotion, like anger, when it's righteous, can manifest this powerful force.
Drinking the blood, that's potent symbolism.
Absorbing and neutralizing negativity right at the source. Powerful stuff.
Then the Vishwaswar Tantra gives another really detailed description. 4 arms, garland of skulls, crescent moon. Right hands hold a sword and a lotus. Left hands, a severed head and a skull bowl.
Contrasting symbols again. Destruction and purity.
2 matted locks of hair, one reaching for the sky. Snakes as jewelry, red eyes, black clothes around her waist.
And the posture.
Lying on Shiva's chest with her left foot, right foot on a lion's back.
That posture is so significant.
She's described as terrifying, making frightening sounds, but also the mistress of the entire moving and unmoving world. The foundation of all Tantra. It's incredibly potent.
It really brings together so many symbolic elements we've touched on. The 4 arms, multifaceted power. The sword cuts away ego, illusion.
Allowing clarity.
Right. And the lotus, purity, spiritual awakening. The skulls and severed head point to transcending death, the cycle of rebirth.
And her being on Shiva.
That highlights the crucial interplay in Tantra. Shakti, the dynamic energy, and Shiva, pure consciousness. She activates him, he's the ground, she's the movement.
And the lion.
Mastery over raw power. Instinct. She controls it all.
So what about the benefits? Why engage with such a formidable deity?
Well, the text is pretty clear. It says, desires, the fruits you seek in life, they are attained through Kali Sadhana, if you follow the scriptures.
It even quotes Guru Gorakshanath,
saying you should absolutely do Kali Sadhana if the chance comes up. Missing it makes one unfortunate.
Those wrong words.
And it's also mentioned as a path to freedom from diseases, developing inner capability, victory over enemies, success, achieving the 4 aims of life.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the whole package.
The whole thing. And crucially, it can be practiced by anyone, women, householders, yogis, renunciates, and the effects, they're said to be realized quickly.
That sounds very comprehensive. Almost too good to be true.
Well, it's important to understand these benefits can be seen on multiple levels, material, psychological, spiritual.
Oh, okay.
While it mentions worldly success, often the ultimate goal in sadhana is inner transformation, realizing your true nature.
And the accessibility, the fact that anyone can practice.
That underscores her universal, compassionate side, despite the fierce imagery. And the quick results. Maybe that means quickly clearing inner blocks when you connect with her potent energy.
Right. Okay, so moving beyond the imagery and origins, the text gets into some really key concepts. Let's start with Shmashana Vasini, dweller in the cremation ground.
Yeah, this one's deep.
The explanation is that Kali resides where the 5 elements merge back together like bodies cremated there, dissolving into basics.
But spiritually?
Spiritually, it's the place where ego, attachment, greed, delusion, envy, all that stuff gets burned to ashes. It's the home of pure consciousness. That's a powerful symbolic landscape.
Absolutely. The cremation ground, usually a place of fear, becomes this potent symbol of detachment, impermanence.
Facing it head on.
Exactly. Kali living there shows her mastery over death as transformation. She guides the seeker beyond ego limits to pure awareness. It's about confronting our deepest fears and seeing what truly lasts.
Then there's Chitta, the funeral pyre itself. This symbolizes the constant burning fire of knowledge, deep within the heart.
The inner fire.
And only with this fire can you get devotion and detachment. Otherwise, it's impossible. So a seeker needs to keep that flame of knowledge burning always, like an internal furnace forging spiritual strength.
Precisely. That fire of knowledge is what consumes ignorance. Illusion. It leads to real understanding, liberation. The Chitta in the heart is a constant reminder to introspect, purify thoughts and desires. It's the engine of spiritual growth.
Next concept, Shavasana, the posture on a corpse.
We touched on this with the iconography.
Right. It says Kali resides even in Shiva when he's in that corpse-like form. Shiva remains inert, a Shava, until Shakti, the energy, animates him.
So without Shakti,
an individual is like a corpse, lifeless. Only through Kali's grace can you escape that state. It really puts the emphasis on dynamic energy, doesn't it?
It beautifully illustrates how inseparable Shiva and Shakti are. Shiva is pure static potential. Shakti is the activating force.
Potential energy needing a trigger.
Exactly. The Shavasana highlights Shakti's role as the dynamic energy bringing consciousness into manifestation, empowering us.
And Mundamalini wearing the garland of severed heads.
Visually arresting, for sure.
The heads symbolize freedom from ego, freedom from the cycle of birth and death. By wearing them, Kali signifies liberation. And contemplating this helps a seeker stay free from worldly illusions.
It's a stark image of transcending our limited identities, isn't it?
Very stark.
It's a powerful metaphor for conquering the ego, the mind's limitations. Each head could be a past identity, a cycle of suffering, a limiting belief, all overcome by realizing the ultimate truth, a reminder that our constructed selves aren't permanent.
Trinature three-eyed. We mentioned this. The text repeats. Fire, sun, moon, seeing past, present, future all at once.
Total, all-encompassing awareness, nothing hidden from our sight.
Annette Pinpayodhara, those elevated firm breasts, explained as her capacity to nurture the three worlds with life's essence, the milk symbolizing spiritual immortality for devotees.
Yes, it reveals her as the Divine Mother, the source of nourishment, sustenance on all levels, material and spiritual.
Even within the fierce form, there's this deep nurturing aspect.
The milk is like the nectar of liberation, eternal life. It speaks volumes about her underlying compassion.
Chaitanyavadi, full of consciousness. She's described as eternally conscious, beyond time, no beginning, middle, or end. The eternal truth itself.
This points to her fundamental nature, pure, undifferentiated consciousness, the ground of all being.
Mahamaya, the great illusionary power. She causes the delusion in beings.
But also,
Through her grace, you can overcome that same illusion. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Creator and dispeller of Maya.
indeed, Maya is the veil obscuring our true nature, creating the illusion of separation. Kali, as Mahamaya, wields the power to create it, but just as much, she holds the key to unveil the truth for those who sincerely seek her grace.
Bhagavati, the divine feminine. The text explains Vaga is the origin of all beings, the basis of the world, the one who grants prosperity.
Emphasizing her role as the primal source, nourishing and supporting the entire cosmos, embodying all beneficial qualities.
And finally, Lingadharini, bearer of the Linga.
Bringing us back to Shiva Shakti.
Right. The text says creation's fundamental principle is that union. Shiva, consciousness, and Shakti, energy, represented by semen and womb. Bhagavati, as Shakti, bears the Linga. Their union is the foundation of all life.
It reinforces that core tantric idea, the inseparable union of consciousness and dynamic energy as the source of everything. Kali, embodying Shakti, is the active, creative principle making consciousness manifest.
Okay, that covers a lot of the core concepts. Now, let's get practical. The Puja Vidi, the worship method outlined.
Right, the how-to.
It starts with preparation. Purify yourself, find a sacred spot, get your worship materials and water ready.
Standard but important first steps.
Then perform Swastavachan, an invocation for auspiciousness, setting the right tone.
Creating that focused, receptive state of mind, crucial for connecting.
Next is dhyana, meditation. There's a specific Sanskrit mantra given.
And the meaning.
Meditate on Kali as the destroyer of delusion, radiant face, slight smile, holding that fresh head and a sword. Garland of skulls, red clothes, blood-smeared body in the cremation ground. Intense visualization.
That dhyana mantra focuses the mind, aligns your consciousness with Kali's specific energies. The imagery, maybe startling at first, is meant to cultivate detachment from the temporary, fearlessness before ultimate reality.
After meditation comes Avahana invocation, another Sanskrit mantra.
What's this one for?
Inviting Mahamaya Chandamundi, the giver of siddhis and welfare, to actually be present and accept the worship. It's a formal invitation.
The ritual act of calling the deity to be present, establishing that direct link.
Then a whole sequence of offerings. Upchar, general items, pagya, water for feet, arghya for hands, achmana, sipping water, a symbolic bath, clothes, flowers, incense, lamp, tilak mark, naivedya, food, dakshina, wealth offering, circumambulation, finishing with mantra pushpanjali, flowers with mantras. It's quite involved.
Each offering has symbolic weight, respect, devotion. It engages all your senses, offering your whole self in worship.
The text then mentions Vinaya Yoga. This seems technical. It links specific elements to the practice.
Like Cordius for the energy.
Rishi Bhairava, Chanda Ushnik, deity Dakshina Kalika, Bij Mantra Krim, Shakti Krim, Kila Krim, and the purpose, attaining desired siddhi.
Exactly. In Tantra, these elements are key for activating the mantra properly. The Bij mantras, like Krim, are seed syllables packed with divine energy.
And the Rishi.
The original seer of the mantra, Chanda, is the rhythm. Shakti and Kilak are about its inherent power and how to unlock it for the goal, Siddhi.
And siddhi means?
Spiritual attainments, powers. Could be inner peace, wisdom, or even more outward abilities gained through dedicated practice.
Following that Kardanyasa and Hridayadinasa, touching parts of the body while reciting specific mantras. Sounds like charging the body.
It's a process called nyasa, consecrating the body, establishing that deep connection with the deity's energy, divinizing your physical form, basically, creating a microcosmic resonance.
Now, the big one, the Mool mantra, the root mantra for Dakshina Kalika. It's given in Sanskrit. E pe plotoi. Yaskres lang krem hoda hal e plisix e plohor haikin halo hai a powerful combination of sounds.
And the text explains the Bij mantras. Yeah, explains Kedantas mix Bija mantras, a puchile, akiniti's creation, sustenance, dissolution, akingina hai sanoho, is the Vizia post book seep. Akina indicating she's near, accessible, at the form of the universe, destroyer of sins.
Each syllable vibrating with meaning. And the practice requires reciting this 200,000 times.
That's right, a lakh during the day, a lakh at night.
Wow. Followed by the Shanchoma, fire offerings, tarpan libations, and feeding Brahmins. That is a serious commitment.
The repetition, the japa, is the heart of the sadhana. It aims to create that deep, lasting resonance with the deity's energy frequency. The other rituals, homa, tarpan, amplify the effects, show gratitude, seek more blessings. The power isn't just meaning, it's the vibration, the cumulative effect.
And finally, within these practices, there's the kavak, an armor, a protective hymn.
A spiritual shield, essentially, invoking Kali's protective energies to guard against negativity, obstacles on the path.
Okay, now, interestingly, the text then shifts to a very specific application. Maran Prayoga, a ritual aimed at, well, harming an adversary.
Yes, it's included.
The dhyana for this is intense. Meditate on Kali, dark, 3 eyes, 4 arms, lolling tongue, face bright as the moon on a blue lotus, destroyer of enemies, holding the head, sword, lotus, skull bowl. Red clothes, fearsome, laughing loud, naked on a corpse, skull garland.
A very focused, fierce visualization.
And after this, dhyana, you recite the kavak.
It's important to recognize that tantric texts often cover a wide spectrum of human concerns, reflecting the complexities of life. Including practices like Maran Prayoga shows that multifaceted nature. We're just reporting what the text says here.
Right, and there's a specific mantra for this Maran Prayoga too, also in Sanskrit. Both mantra and kavash are apparently from the Ujjayi Tantra.
That's what the source indicates.
And it claims daily recitation destroys enemies, brings freedom from disease, gives progeny. Reciting it 1,000 times brings Siddhi, success in subjugation, and Maran.
Again, these specific applications are part of a traditional system addressing various life aspects, including protection from perceived negative forces, just laying out what the text describes.
The actual procedure for this Maran Prayoga, it's very detailed, almost like a recipe.
How so?
Get ashes from a pyre, water touched by the enemy's foot, mix them into ink. Use an iron pen to draw an effigy of the enemy head north, feet south.
Specific orientation.
Hold the effigy, recite the kavak and mantra. Then pierce the effigy's navel, heart, and throat with an acacia thorn while chanting.
Symbolic actions.
Heat the effigy over fire until it's hot. And placing it under your left foot, the text states, will cause the enemy's death. It claims this kavak destroys enemies, control of them, grants wealth, sons, causes their downfall, makes the devotee like a flame. It's very specific and intense stuff.
It certainly illustrates the kind of ritualistic methods found in some tantric practices for specific outcomes, the use of symbolic materials, actions. It's believed to channel energies towards a desired result, according to the tradition described.
So, wrapping up this deep dive into the Kali Mantra Sadhana text. Wow, we've covered a huge amount.
We really have.
We looked at Kali's many layers, that potent symbolism in her form, the dramatic origin stories, the deep meaning behind concepts like the cremation ground, the Shiva-Shakti dynamic.
And the detailed practices outlined, from foundational meditation and mantra.
Right through to that very specific Maran Prayoga application.
Looking back, you, the listener, have really gotten a glimpse into this rich tradition. Understanding the divine feminine as this incredibly powerful, transformative force.
This text gives a framework for engaging with Kali that definitely goes beyond just surface impressions.
It invites contemplation on these huge themes. Time, consciousness, liberation. What really stands out is that intricate web of symbolism and the detailed methods for connecting with this energy.
Absolutely, the sheer intensity of the imagery, the directness of some practices, it leaves an impression.
No question.
So thinking about all this,
Yeah.
what aspects of this exploration resonate most deeply with you, and what further questions, what avenues of thought might this understanding of Kali Sadhana spark? It's definitely a realm that invites, well, a lot more contemplation.